Hey everyone, welcome to MTB Fit. Today is the first workout in a series of 3, so working on progression on how to be a better climber. So let's get started. The first exercise we're going to do is going to be on the floor. We're going to do a plank in and out. So in this position, we want to be getting feet hip-width apart. Our shoulders are right over our wrists. Abs are engaged, thighs are engaged. So from here, I'm just going to tap out side to side with my feet. I want to be aware of the upper body, and I want to have the least amount of movement as possible through the upper body. So I'm just going to tap out, come back in, tap, and in. So here we're really trying to work on stabilization through the upper body while the lower body is moving around. So just make sure you keep the upper body stable so the armpits are active. You feel a push-up position through the upper body. And we're just going to do about 10 each side. And today's goal is a circuit, so we want to rest as little as possible in between each set. Come down. Next exercise, we're going to be using a ball, doing a ball bridge. The purpose of the ball bridge is to help improve hip strength and mobility. So you're going to be walking out on the ball, keeping your abs engaged as you walk out. You're going to end up with your head and the tops of your shoulder blades on the ball. So the first thing we want to get into neutral alignment with the spine. So we don't want to be in this arch position where the lower back's going to take over for the glutes. So my tailbone's going to tuck up, so I feel really active back through here. I want to keep my knees over my heels, dropping the hips down, coming back up. So as I go down, I'm trying to maintain that neutral spine, so I don't want to let go of the abdominal wall, pushing straight up. So the goal is to get to a tabletop position from the knees to the shoulders. We get a lot of tightness as mountain bikers through the hip flexors, so the front of those hips. So it's going to be normal to feel a stretch here down to the bottom of the knees, or the tops of the knees. We just want to be paying attention that we have even weight distribution between both feet. And we want to feel like we're driving straight up towards the ceiling and not rocking back on the ball. So we'll do about 15 of these before we move on. And then just walk back. As you walk back, press down through the feet, abs are engaged to roll yourself back up. Next exercise is also going to be in plank position. These plank positions, doing exercises that way are really good because when we're climbing, we have a lot of pressure and pushing motions through the upper body. And if we have the strength and the stability at the joints, it's also going to help us avoid injuries and tension and pain up into the neck and upper traps here. So, getting again into a plank position. This time I'm going to put my feet a little bit wider, more towards shoulder width. So the shoulder taps, we're just going to go side to side with the hands. So keeping plank, so I want my ears, shoulders, hips, and ankles all lined up. The more I keep my quads engaged, the more stable I'm going to be. So I'm just going to be going side to side. Doing the best you can not to move the rest of the body. So as I take my hand up, I'm really squeezing at my glute with my glutes and my quads pulling up to help have the least amount of movement through the rest of the body. So it's not just about switching your weight and distributing through the upper body unevenly, it's also the lower body. Here, depending on how you're feeling, you'll do 8 each way to about 12. Coming down on the knees to transition. Next exercise is going to be a rotational movement. So we're going to be doing a high to low chop, splitting the feet. So you can either do this with a resistance band or a cable machine. So splitting my stance, my outside foot is forward, keeping the knees soft. My back leg is closer than a lunge, like if I was doing a lunge position, going up and down, but I'm gonna tuck my tailbone under so my glutes are engaged back here to help stabilize the hips. So here, we're just trying to focus on getting a spinal rotation where my ribs turn, but my hip bones are facing forward. This is one of the weakest movements that people have just because in life, we don't rotate. But when we're on our bike, shifting and moving around, the upper body goes one way, lower body goes the other. So we actually are getting a lot of movement through the torso. So, starting position, my hips are going to be facing forward. Overlap your hands, trying to keep your wrists straight. The cable you want to be in front of your body, so you don't want to feel like it's coming from the back and across. So that lower body's active, my abdominal wall's drawn back, turning, losing my balance, just scoot back a little bit. That was too far forward. So, okay, upper body or lower body has a strong setup, crossing over, back up. So as I turn, I want to be feeling the obliques turning with me. So it's not really about the upper body pulling or pushing the cables. I want my eyes to go the same direction that my chest and chin are going. Breathing out as you come down and across. Breathing in as you come up. So you should be feeling a lot of work through the center of the body. If you feel any discomfort in your lower back, just check that you're having that the glutes are engaged in that back leg. And if not, you're still feeling discomfort, just shorten the amount of repetitions until it starts feeling more comfortable for you. Or you can put something down in the comments to ask a question and I will get to you with the answer. So with that one, probably about 10 to 15 each side. So if you're more advanced, you could do more repetitions. So after that, I would just turn the other direction, same thing. Okay, so we did our first circuit. We're doing 2 rounds of each circuit. So once you're done with me working on this one, go back around and do those same exercises again. But now I'm going to show you the next series of this workout. So we're going to be starting on the ball, grabbing dumbbells for a chest press. So typically the weight that you can do on like a standard bench is going to be more weight than you can do on the ball. So the reason we want to use the ball is all about giving ourselves an unstable environment to work on gaining stability through the body and control and mobility through the joints. So. Okay. So I'm going to hold on to the dumbbells close to my body as I walk out. So that same idea as the ball bridge. Abs are engaged. I'm going to walk out until my head and the top of my shoulder blades are on the ball. I want to keep those knees right over the ankles and hips lifted. So I never want to feel like my hips are dropping. So if my glutes are letting go, that's happening. So that lower body is actually going to get a lot of work just from holding this bridge position. So a full body exercise with this one. So for the chest press, we're going to be coming up and coming into the middle, keeping the hands and the elbows with the shoulders, with the chest. So as we come back, we don't want to be up here. That's going to put a lot of stress up into the neck. So I want to keep those shoulders away from the ears. Wrists are straight, hands are with the chest, pressing up. Breathe out as you press up, breathing in as you come down. So when we're on the wall, you'll feel like your body wants to kind of rock left and right. So the more you can keep your abdominal wall engaged and that lower body with that continual push down through the feet, the more stable you're going to be. And the more focus you can keep to the exercise that you're doing. So here, the chest press. So as I come down, my elbows can go lower than my shoulders as long as I feel like I'm still in control. Back up. So depending on the weight, as you are getting familiar with the exercise, keep the weight light and the reps higher. As you get stronger and more comfortable with the movement, go ahead and drop the repetitions to about 12 with heavier weight. So I'm going to put the weights on my hips, abs engaged, push through the feet. My glutes are tired. So take just a little bit of rest. So again, resting the least amount of possible because we are trying to build up strength but also endurance. So where we can start to control our heart rate. So the more we practice endurance activities, the stronger, the easier it's going to be to keep our heart rate down for a longer period of time, especially when we're climbing. That's pretty critical, which I'm sure you guys are all pretty familiar with. Okay, so our next exercise is going to be working through the shoulders. So this exercise is called a scaption. I'm going to be working my shoulders, but a lot of the focus here is how to maintain stabilization through the shoulder girdle. And what that looks like is we don't want to be shrugging and we don't want to be rounding forward. So this position is really common, especially as we get tired on the bike or even when we're going downhill. So we want to get the stability and neutral alignment through the shoulder girdle to keep the work into the right areas to avoid pain and overuse injuries. So the scaption is like a Y. I'm going to come up, keeping my wrists straight, my hands are open a little bit. The higher my arms go, the lower I want to think about my shoulders being. So as I raise up, I'm not shrugging up and controlling down. So I'm coming up and down. So even when you're standing and doing a strength exercise, a mobility exercise, whenever you have resistance and force against your body, you're still having to stabilize. So as I come up and down, I want to be checking for this. So I want to keep neutral alignment, which is just ears all the way down to the ankles staying lined up. So my glutes, quads, and abs are active. Coming up, focusing down through the shoulders, reaching up through the shoulders, and controlling down. So here, if you're feeling any clicking or discomfort in the shoulders or tension in the elbows, you can adjust the range of your arms. And if you're feeling tension in the elbows, go ahead and just lighten the load until they get stronger. All right, next is lower body, always the fun stuff. So we're going to be doing a lunge, but we're also going to be adding a calf raise in the front of the leg. That's an area that tends to get fatigued pretty quickly, especially because we're doing a lot of, feet movement on the pedals. So this will help strengthen the quads and the calves. So we're going to go into a close lunge stance. You're going to be dropping down into the lunge. So abdominal wall stays drawn back, glutes are active back here. As I bend down into my lunge, my knee is going to go slightly forward and a slight bend in the hips. Arms will be down by the body. As I come up, I'm raising up onto the front tippy toes, back down. So when we're doing lunges and squats, we also want to be paying attention to the knees caving in. So we want to keep the knee and the hip and ankle all tracking. So as I come up, to help me stabilize and control the ankle wanting to wobble back and forth, I'm pulling my thigh back, pulling the abdominal wall back. And depending on how you feel with this, doing 10 to 15 repetitions. Next side. So we'll drop down, reach up. Breathe out as you come up. Breathe in as you go down. Keep energy through your arms, reaching up and forward through the fingertips to help drive the body up. As you come down, with that back knee, only come down to where you don't feel a strain. Because again, like I talked about, the hip flexors get very tight cycling. So one of our hip flexors is a quad muscle. And as it goes into the knee, and we start bending, so we're stretching from here to the knee, if it's pretty tight, you can get some discomfort. So as you start working on stretching, flexibility, you'll be able to go down a little bit lower. Okay, I'm going to take a moment. Always get water when you need to. Okay, so the last exercise are squats. Everybody's familiar with those. So with the squat, the idea is to have the feet about hip to shoulder width apart. As you go down, we're trying to do the best we can not to drop the chest over the knees. So we're going to start bending the knees. Go ahead and bring your arms forward as you go down, because that's going to help counteract the balance so you feel a little bit less of this. So I'm trying to drop down into the heels, trying not to arch my back, because that means I'm letting go of the glutes and I'm putting the pressure on the lower back. So I'm just down, back up. So I'm actively pushing down through my heels, pulling my quads back and my abs back. Watching my knees so they don't cave in. So I'm using my glutes to help my knees from falling in. So it's going to be pretty important to pay attention to. Also helps with overuse injuries in the knees. So use the big muscles to help us move. So depending on your strength and your endurance, you can also easily hold weights right by your sides if you can do a lot of body weight squats. So with that, with squats doing about, if you can get to 20 repetitions body weight, then go ahead and start dropping it down to 15 repetitions with some weight, down to 12, and just keep incorporating, weight versus repetitions. But the idea is to get about 12 or 15 repetitions with every exercise for this workout. So we're done with the first round. So again, you're going to be doing 2 sets, and each grouping, you're going to do a full set, and then you're going to be going back around and doing the next set. And then you can come back to the video, do the second circuit that we did as well. All right, another thing is that the warm-up is always very important. So checking out the YouTube channel, I have a mobility flow. It's a 10-minute mobility flow. It's actually part of my full training programs on my website, but I'm giving it to you because of how important it is to make sure that you warm up appropriately. And it works through the whole entire body, so you're going to get a great warm up and your body's going to be prepared for this workout, any workout, and also your mountain bike activity. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed this workout. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. If there's anything else that you want to see, go ahead and put it down in the comments. Also, if you're looking for more or want to learn a little bit more about the programs that I offer, head over to www.fitprosolutions to learn how I can help you become a better mountain biker. I'll see you guys soon.